We do. We'll be crying a year from now. 6 guys gone all at one time, but it's been a work in progress to build that, and I believe that everywhere I've tried to work is I think you have to have depth, for the quality of competition, and then so guys have to work to get to play and that kind of thing. And then I think one of the most things, a position I coach, Coach Hobby and I, is guys have to feel good about that guy that's coming in for them, or they don't want to come out of the game, and then they'll go probably longer than they should, to overextend themselves. And the same way with that guy coming in, he has to feel good that he can take that guy's spot and hold up. So that's where we've worked to get to, and if we can get through camp and healthy and that kind of thing, we would like to be able to play at least 10 defensive linemen in every game. 5 inside, 5 outside, and then you have your best players that are fresh enough in the fourth quarter to try to help you win the game.
Can you just talk to the defense possibly being the strength of this team? There's obviously been big offensive numbers put up the last few years, and that's kind of the sexy thing, but the defense is getting a lot of pub, especially in the offseason, about being the strength of this football team. Is that something you would agree with?
I'll let the head coach and the coordinators answer that. Y'all deal with them all the time, but all I know is a couple of years ago we were the weak link of the whole football team. So mine didn't take that too good when I wrote it on the board. That's what we got told, that we were the weak link. So they've grown into it, and I think they've accepted that role that they need to carry some weight. We did lose some good offensive people. We lost some good defensive people, but not up front. Everybody that played up front, we've got back. So I think they've accepted that role, and with a guy like Stefan, kind of being the leader of that linebacker group that has played a lot of football. You lost some good players like Shuey and them at linebacker that Quandon played a lot of football. So I think they've accepted that role. And then Robert Smith, it seems impossible that people like him and Grady are seniors. It just don't seem that long ago. But you do have some quality experience. You also got some young guys that very talented, but when you start out with corners that hadn't played the game, it's especially the way our schedule starts off. So they have to step up. So as far as the strengths and whatever the negatives or whatever might be going in, like I say, I think that's a head coach's place to address that. But I do feel like that we've got enough to where we won't be called the weak link, at least anyway, maybe.
Can you talk about bringing back guys like Beasley and Crawford and Jarrett and guys up front, and what that can do for you when you got those guys coming back to getting a jump start into August?
Right, and they know our system. Coach Minimal's been here now, and our kids know what we expect and what we want them to do and that kind of thing. So every one of these kids has been in the system. They know not only the drills, but they know the schemes. They know what we're trying to do. So now you try to hone that up, and up front it's still so much. It's a physical game up there, but it's still so much technique and things that you do. So they understand that. They've been around Coach Hobby and I, and it brings a lot when you have those guys that can mentor young guys. And I think our biggest challenge that Coach Hobby and I have talked about is trying to make sure Vic Beasley's getting better. That just because he came back and he's an All-American, that he's not status quo, because nobody stays the same. And, we don't want him to get worse. So that's a challenge to Coach Hobby, to take him and get him better, and then to take Richard Jurgen and get him up to speed too. And for me, to take a Grady Jarrett, you got seniors in there that have played a lot of ball, but to make sure they're getting better, that he's bettering himself. And at the same time, you're taking a Pagano or whoever and getting him up to speed, because as we all know, all it takes is a couple of injuries. All of a sudden, the guy's in a game that you weren't counting on being there, and he needs to be ready to go. But it does bring a lot with those guys being there, getting quality reps, and then them also helping coach the young guys. And the young guys see, this is the way it's supposed to be at Clemson. This is the way it's supposed to be done when they watch Grady Jarrett or Corey Crawford, that kind of thing.
Would you like to see someone